I'm listening. Well, ask me questions. I know. So, obviously.
No. 7?
All right, get out your homework, please.
Wow, now
You don't have to worry about it. I forgot my freaking. I didn't take my freaking.
All right. Sorry, can you close the door for me, please? All right, let's get going here. Quiet, please. All right. Any questions on the homework? 135 to 130, or page 135 to 136. Yes. You got, remember what we said, right? You absolutely can say you're confused, but you're going to tell me what you're confused on. Okay. You come to class ready to ask your questions. Telling me that I'm lost, I don't know what I'm doing, doesn't allow me to help you. I can help you when you say, I understand there's something about flipping it or sliding it or rotating it, but I'm lost on what that means. That's a good question. All right, anyone else? No one? Just Jake? Yes. Well, agreed, but you didn't get to class. Right. Yes.
What's the answer number 9?
Yeah, we'll get there. All right, Jake, you got a question yet?
Yeah. So like on 1 to 4.
Yes.
Is it saying like BCA and GEF, for example, those are equal to each other?
So what it's saying is that when you line up those shapes, when you literally place one on top of the other so that they cover each other perfectly, which things line up? So on number 1, if you place the one triangle on top of the other one, what angles line up perfectly?
EA, EF, and CG.
All right, so EA, we'll just focus on one of those. Now look at your 3 possible answers, A, B, and C. You said that A has got to match up with E. So look at answer A. Does A match up with E?
No.
It doesn't. So look at C. Does A match up with E?
No. Yes.
So therefore, that's the answer. You see how that works? Now, the only issue is that number 1 was really easy. You can see how they line up. The other ones, you got to flip it, rotate it. What did I leave off? Flip, rotate, or reflect, rotate, and slide. Okay, anybody else? That was a good question, Jake. Let's take a look at number 11. So there are many answers for 11. I'll try to draw it. You have 2 semicircles, and they look like this. The question is, Danny, how do you get this one on the left to look like the one on the right? Lots of answers. Right, slide it and then flip it, lines up perfectly. So for yours, translate, reflect. But there's other ways. Grace, what'd you put?
Probably wrong. Translation and then rotation.
So you tell me what to do. How do you want me to translate it?
To the
So it's directly on top or on the other side or what?
directly.
If you put it directly on top, it would look like this.
And then
I would say, this is what Danny said as well, I would just immediately flip it at that point. So reflect it. And then it would line up perfectly. Okay? I guess you could say, if you wanted, she originally said translate it, then rotate it. If we translated it to it's over here, you see that? See that? And then you rotate it around this direction, it would line up on as well. So you could do that, right? bit more complicated, but that would work. Anybody had another way of doing it? What do you got? How about we just from right here rotate it like this? Would that not line up perfectly? You can do it in one step instead of two. It's not that one step is better than two. I guess efficiency-wise it is, but for answer-wise, any of that works. All right, let's grade this sucker. Yes.
Okay, so I think for 5 to 8, like
So 5 to 8. Now you go back to questions 1 through 4, and you write the triangle congruency statement, or in this case, the 2 triangle. Other ones are quadrilaterals and pentagons. Okay. All right. Here we go. Well, we've already answered number 1. That's C. Now, some people say, well, was I supposed to put yes or no or true or false? You could have done that as well, too. So A is false, B is false, C is true. I'm just going to call out the one that's true. Number 2 is B is the only one that's true. Number 3 is also B. And number 4 is A. It is. All right, number 5. Now, you didn't get to pick the order to write these letters. They fixed it. They said that triangle CBA. Well, let's see. C goes with G, B goes with F, and A goes with E. So the only answer is triangle GFE. That's part A. And then they say match up the sides and the angles. So for B, that would be angle G. And for C, that would be segment CA. Make sense? Okay. Number 6, triangle RPQ. That's the only way that could be written. B is angle, is it Q? Yeah, Q. And C is side YX or segment YX. Number 7, quadrilateral YZWX. B is angle D. And C is side XW or segment XW. Number 8, pentagon. Oh, that's a lot of letters there. L, K, H, N, M. Yes? Okay. B goes with angle L, and C goes with side NN, November Mike, or segment NM. Now, the book gives me lots of ways to solve 9 through 12. So the book's suggestion for number 9 is a rotation. It can be done other ways. Their suggestion for number 10 is a translation. I think that's the easiest one. Number 11, I think the rotation would be the easiest one, but the translation reflection probably also is popular. And then number 12, either reflection, 1 step, or translation, 1 step. You flip it from left to right, it lines up, or if you just slide it left to right. Well, remember, these are suggestions. You got to tell me what you wrote. What'd you write for 9? Yes, 10. Correct. All right, anybody else? That's it. All right. What? So I need you guys to get out a single sheet of paper. A single sheet of paper, yes. Once we get this done, you're the first one. Remember, if it's an emergency, you don't ever have to ask me this. Single sheet of paper. We are going to make a resource card for the test tomorrow. That's behind you. That's behind you. I'll take it. Put it in the box. That's behind you. All right. Now, I do not want to. I do not want to scare you, but this could be a challenging test. So what we're going to do is that we are going to make a resource card together. All right, we're going to go over this test. We're not going to answer anything yet. We're just going to go over this real quick, and we're going to make a resource card. Okay, I'm going to claim that this resource card will be all you need to pass the test. Okay? As long as, well, you did your homework, Richard, and you were paying attention in class. So I think Richard is at least half of that. All right. My money's that he'll pass the test. All right, here we go. Look at questions 1 through 3. They talk about the basic building blocks of geometry. So on your paper, the first building block of geometry is called a point. We call points by capital letters. So points, capital letters. Okay. If you name a point on the test and you do not put a capital letter, or if I ask you to name points and you can't name them correctly, I will take off points. Pun intended. All right. If you put 2 points together, you make a. You put 2 points together, you make a. You absolutely don't make a triangle. You absolutely don't make a line, but you do make. You do make a segment. Now you could say chord. That's true. All right. How do we name segments?
Endpoints.
Sorry. All right, we name it by its endpoint. So all segments must have, if you're naming them, no, toss it. That one's dead. If you're naming a segment and you leave off the segment, it's wrong. If you give me 3 letters, it's wrong. It has to have 2 letters, and the 2 letters have to be the endpoints. If you have C, you see what I'm doing? Smack dab in the middle. And you want to talk about the whole thing, and you say this is segment AC, you are wrong. The whole thing is segment AB. I should see pencils moving. The next shape we had was ray. A ray starts at an endpoint and goes on forever in one direction. Okay? You may name a ray by any point along the ray, but the first letter must be the endpoint. It must be the endpoint. We have C right here. Well, that's either ray AC or AB. It's the same ray. No difference between AC and AB. Difference in segments, but not different in ray. If you leave off the ray, or you give me the wrong letter to start your ray, the ray must start at the endpoint. Then I will take off points. The last basic building block is a line. A line can be named by any 2 points along the line. Any 2 points defines the line. Lines are made with 2 letters and the line symbol over the top. Call these things the wrong names and you will get them wrong. Okay. Line is 2 letters, any 2 letters on the line, and the line symbol above it. Say it one more time, Dan. A segment is neither a ray nor a line. Okay. A line is both a segment and rays. A ray is both segment and ray. Okay. There's a couple other words there for questions 1 through 3. Is anyone lost on what the word parallel means? Show me with your fingers. What does parallel mean? Perfect. Okay. What does collinear mean?
Same.
It means on the same,
Plane.
not plane, collinear, as the name would imply. Collinear. I am on the same line. You might want to write that down. That's question number 2. Question number 2 doesn't say collinear, it says. So if you're non-collinear, you are not on the same line. It's spelled on your paper that Nathan was supposed to hand to you. Okay. Collinear means on the same line. Non-collinear means not the same line. Hey, check it out. On my line here, A and B are collinear. You see point C now? A, B, and C are non-collinear. They're not on the same line. I can put a line between there. A, B, and C are still non-collinear. B and C are collinear. A and B are collinear. But A, B, and C are non-colored. They aren't all on the same line. When two lines or two rays or two segments or any combination of them intersect, how many places do they intersect? Are you listening? Maddie's not. One person is. When two lines, two segments, or two rays, or any combination of those intersect, how many places do they intersect at?
Multiple. They can intersect.
There's no way that two lines, two rays, or segments can intersect at more than,
One.
I would have to break this. I'm not going to. I would have to break this in order for them to intersect at any other than 1 point. So when two lines, rays, or segments intersect, or any combination of that, they only intersect at one spot. Okay? Remember that. That's question number.
No. I understood that perfectly. I just got
Okay.
confused. I thought you meant like lines as in like more than one.
No.
Like I mean I understood.
Planes intersect at more than 1 point.
I forgot about the
All right. What's your question?
How big can my resource card be?
One sheet of paper, front and back. All right. Moving on. The test will be exactly like what you see in this, with one exception. I'll tell you the exception at the end. Questions 4 and 6, metric system. What's the only thing you need to remember about metric system?
King
King
Henry
Henry
died.
So write it right now on your paper. King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk, except the B actually means
Meters.
meters or
Liter.
liters or grams. Okay? Now you might want to write the first D on the left is deca. The second D is deci. The last M is milli. And then hopefully you know centi, kilo, hecto, and that's it. Do you remember how to use this? Okay. The first one, number 4, says centimeters to M. Right? M doesn't mean milli. M means meters. So if I go from centimeters to meters, I'm going 1, 2 letters to the left. So I move the decimal place 2 to the left. 2 to the left, not to the right. So 0.6 meters. All right.
How would you know which M it is?
This is what you have to write on your resource card. If it's just an M all by itself, it's meters. If it's 2 M's, MM, that's milli, whatever.
But where does the
Where does the what?
like where it says like 60 centimeters?
Where does the decimal appear in the word 60? There's your decimal.
But if you move it, it's just 60.
If we go from centimeters to meters, we're moving 1, 2 to the left. So I move it 1, 2 to the left.
Right.
Well, here is where it
0.60.
lines up. So it's point. Now you could put 0.60. I wouldn't mark it wrong. Most people would just put 0.6. Yes.
How would you know which way to go?
It's whichever way the letters go. You have a beginning and an end. The first one is the start. The last one is the end. So whichever way you go, that's the direction you move your decimal place. You're going to be given 2 things. The first one is your start. Your last one is your end. So I can't tell you which way to go. It's whichever way it tells you to go. Your first one is your starting. Your last one is your ending. Whichever direction you're going is where your decimal place is moving. Yes.
What's the first?
First D is DECA, deca. Second one is DECI, deci. Other question? Okay, cool. That's the one that, and I'll be nice to you, not put that on the test. Yes.
When does it tell you which way you're going?
It's there's a first and a second. There's a first and a second. The first is the starting point.
Yeah,
The
but
second.
then how could we go a different way?
Okay, let's go from K to C. We're going to the right. Let's go from C to K. We're going to the left.
Oh.
It will tell you the first is your starting point, the second is finish. All right. Those are the only metric questions I will have. Just 2 of them. It should be easy. You should not make a mistake. All right. Let's talk about midpoints. There are no midpoints of rays. There are no midpoints of lines. There are midpoints of segments. Look at the board. So here is segment AB. You ready? Somewhere along this segment is the middle of it, right? right? Let's say that that is the middle. I'll call it point M. You see what I did? M is the middle of segment AB. If AM is 5, how big is AB? Everybody? If AM is 5, how big is AB? If M is the midpoint. Okay, how big is MB? If AB is 12, how big is MB? How big is AM? Could I ask that question in any other form? I'm either going to give you the small piece and ask you the big piece or that piece, or I'm going to give you the big piece and ask you one of the smaller two pieces. Yes?
In the last part, when it says CM, what mean we use it?
C is the C, and King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk.
So we ignore him?
M is always the suffix. The suffix is either meters, liters, or grams. Always, always. Right? All right. We good on midpoint? All right. The next one, you definitely want to write this down. Complementary, supplementary. So complementary with an E, complementary, and supplementary. Supplementary. Okay. Complementary is how many degrees?
90,
And supplementary is,
180.
I will give you one measurement, you figure out the second one. Hey, what is the complement of 40 degrees?
80, about 50,
What is the supplement of 40 degrees?
140.
Even though those of you that couldn't do that math that quickly in your head, you understand what they're doing. I give you 1, you subtract it from 90. I give you 1, you subtract it from 180. What's the complement of 90? There is no complement 90, right? 90 minus 90 is 0. Trick question. I won't give you that. What is the complement of 80 degrees?
10.
What is the supplement of 80 degrees? Who's lost? I'm just taking the number and subtracting it from 90 if I ask for the complement, subtracting it from 180 if it's a supplement. For instance, that is question number. Somebody help me out here. That is questions 7 and 8. We good on complements and supplements? Okay, moving on. All right, what does adjacent mean? Adjacent means the following. You will have two angles that will share an endpoint and a common ray. I'm going to put some letters here. A, B, C, D. See it?
Wait, so in the other one, we subtract this complementary would be subtract 90 and supplementary would be subtract 80.
Yes. Adjacent angles are two angles that are next to each other. They share a common vertex and a common ray. What are the names of the two adjacent angles here?
BD and BC.
How do we name angles?
Vertex.
There's 4 different ways. We can name it by its vertex, we can name it by a number if there's a number there, or we can name it with 3 letters. Do you see any numbers here?
No.
Why can't we call this angle B? Why can't we call this one angle B?
Because there's another one.
Because there's one right here. Well, which one is angle B? Not descriptive enough. So when we name adjacent angles, unless they're marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, we're going to use 3 letters with the angle symbol. So what are the 2 adjacent angles here?
BD.
You got to have 3 letters. ABC is adjacent to, well, here's ABC right here. What's it adjacent to? What's it next to?
DBC.
DBC. Adjacent means next to. Yes. What did I say? Oh, plus 1 for you.
That's what.
Plus 1 for you. All right. Good job. Boy, thankfully we got one person paying attention. Teacher wasn't. Questions? So ABD is adjacent. Now you could say DBC or CBD, either one's fine. Okay? Next to. Okay? All right. That was questions number 9. All right, types of triangles. Somewhere on your paper, put the word triangle, and then put side, and then put angles. All right, let's go over triangles by sides. If none of the sides, Madison, are congruent, that is called a, remember? This is why your resource card is going to save your bacon, because she would have gotten that wrong on the test. You got it? None of the sides are the same is called a, none of the sides are the same, it's called a, anybody? What? Scalene, correct. So scalene, I'm just writing the words, you got to write the definition. Scalene means no sides. Congruent. If 2 sides are congruent, we call it a isosceles, 2 sides. And if 3 sides are the same, we call it
Equilateral.
equilateral. So clearly this class is doomed for failure if you don't have this on a resource card, because only 2 people could give me those. And yes, there will be questions like on number 11 and number 10 and number 12. All sides are the same, equal, lateral sides. By angle measurements, if all the angles are acute, we call that triangle a. If one of the angles is 90 degrees, we call it.
Right.
And if one of them is obtuse, we call it.
Obtuse.
All right, those are the easy ones. I'm not talking about angles, I'm talking about triangle. Remember, if we're talking about angles, we still have a straight angle as well. This is the classification of triangles by their side measurements and by their angle measurements. All we're doing is review, we're making a resource card. Yes?
What is that document here?
2 sides are the same. Good? Yeah.
Doesn't the equilateral have 2 L's in it?
Does it?
Or sorry, 3 L's.
3 L's?
Yeah.
I will check on that. You have found my weakness. It's my kryptonite. I think I have it spelled right, but we'll see. Good?
They do.
All right, I'll give you an answer on the equilateral. All right. Next thing, polygons. All right, I'm not going to write these down. You're going to write them down. I mentioned that you need to know your polygons up to 10 sides. So let's go over them. 3-sided polygon is called a. Maybe you need to write that down. Maybe you don't. 4 sides called a.
Quadrilateral.
Maybe you need to write that down. Maybe you don't. Quadrilateral. 5 sides is called a.
Pentagon.
Pentagon. Okay, now we're probably in the area that some people need to write this down. 6 side is called a.
Hexagon.
Don't miss this, please. If you look at questions 13 and 14, literally that's what it's going to look like on the test. If you miss that, shame on you. Yes. H-E-X. A-G-O-N. Okay, it's in your notes. All right. 7 side we don't get for 7th grade, just so you know, it's called a heptagon. 8 is called a octagon. And then lastly, 10 is
Decagon.
decagon. Please don't miss this. I'll help you in case you don't want. All right. You need to put on your paper the word regular. What does regular mean? Regular means all the sides have the same measurement, all the angles have the same measurement. Regular. Question 15 says, what is the perimeter of a regular such and such? Regular means all the sides have the same measurement, all the angles have the same measurement. Irregular means not that. So it asks you to calculate the perimeter of a regular. Give me one of the polygons, somebody. Give me a polygon. Hexagon. So what is the perimeter of a regular hexagon that has a side length 5?
5 times 30.
Well, how many sides in a hexagon?
6.
We know one of them is 5. It's regular. That means all the sides are 5. Therefore, the perimeter is 30, whatever the units are. Okay? Don't forget to put units. And I did not give you the answer to 15. All right. I will let you enjoy question 16 all by yourself. All right. We do have 2 true formulas on this test, and they deal with circles and circumference. A circumference is a fancy word for perimeter of a circle. Okay? We have 2 formulas, one for the diameter, one for the radius. Who's got the diameter formula? What do you got?
The diameter formula is pi times d.
Pi times d. And the circumference for the radius is
2 pi r.
2 pi r. If I give you the diameter, use pi d. If I give you the radius, use 2 pi r. Or, smarter kids out there, pi d. You just know that if I give you the radius, you double it. Okay? No, you will not have a calculator. Yes, you can have a multiplication table. You're going to be multiplying whatever, something times 3.14. Okay? All right. And then the last thing is what we had last night or over the weekend for homework. I will make it nice and easy for you. I will give you a triangle congruency statement. You just need to match up corresponding parts. So look at questions 20 and 21. Macy, I will give you the class here in 10 seconds. Here's the class on what we did. Look at 20. 20 says triangle ABC is congruent to GHI. It says, then angle B, go to the first triangle and tell me what letter is B, the first, second, or third letter. This is Mason. 20. Go to 20. Look at 20. It says, then angle B is congruent to. Now look at the first triangle. Is B the first, second, or third letter? So go to the second triangle, tell me the second letter. Second letter of the second triangle. That's the answer. First goes with first, second goes with second, third goes with third. Now for sides, this is question 21. It says triangle ABC, once again, is congruent to triangle GHI. And it says side HI, or segment HI. Go to your second triangle. Do you see H and I in the second triangle? Second triangle.
Yeah.
What letters are they?
Second and third.
Now look at the first triangle. Give me the second and third letter.
B and C.
And that's the answer. There's the class. All right. No, it was a bit more complicated than that, but that's what you need for the test. Yes. We're almost there. Okay. Lastly, 2 things. First off, go to your answer sheet. Question number 17, I don't know. And 18, I lost my brain. Scratch through the answer on number 17. Are you listening? Maddie? Exactly. Look at your answer sheet. Scratch through the answer on number 17. It should say 62.8 centimeters.
Yeah.
And then on number 18, it shouldn't say 12.56 C. It should say 12.56 cm. 17. Scratch through the whole darn thing. The answer is 62.8 centimeters. Number 18, just put an M next to the C and you're good. All right. The remainder of class, in silence, you're going to do the test. Yes, question number 16 is, for some of you, challenging. Okay? I'm not going to tell you the answer until the end of class. Stare at it. Look at it. Read it carefully. You can do 16. No, I'm not going to give you hints. And no, you're not going to give the person next to you hints. No, you're not going to talk to the person next to you. You're going to take this whole practice test all by yourself. You're going to check the answers. Look at answers number 1 and 2. See what it says? There's lots of answers, right? You should know what parallel looks like. That should be a pretty easy one, okay? There's lots of answers to question number 2, but all the rest, these are the answers. All right, start taking your practice test. I am not lying. Oh, I apologize. I said 2 things. The second thing that's not on the practice sheet is you will have to measure 2 angles with a protractor. and 1 segment with the ruler portion of the protractor. Okay? Well, I didn't give you a practice one, but I do have it on the test. Okay, yes. What? What did I literally just say?
We're still in
Yeah,
class.
I already knew what your question was. All right. No, I'm not going to help you on number 16, but I'll help you on anything else. I want you to think about 16. You can do 16. All right, e-learners, I'm going to stop it right there. All we're going to do is the practice test. Hopefully you heard those corrections on the answers for, what was it, 17 and 18. If you have any questions, ask me. I will post the test by, let's see, this class starts at around 10:30-ish. I will post the class by 10:30 tomorrow so that if you're taking this live, you can, I know, Eleanor, you're usually live on this, so you can get started on your test tomorrow. The rest of you, remember, it will be due the following day. Catch you later. If you have any questions, email me or send me a message in chat.